He claims that the Quran has never been tampered with, and then ask proof. Take note, guys, and please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment on what you think.
So you're telling me that the Quran was tampered with, right?
Yeah, clearly, by Uthman.
Go ahead. Tell me about it.
You want me to tell you about it?
Yes. Tell me how the Quran was tampered with.
Of course. Long ago, after the Battle of Yamama, there was fear and trembling in the Ummah. There were those who remembered the Quran verbatim, sent into battle with the thought that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would protect those who memorized the Quran. They would be undefeated. Oh boy, were they wrong. Thus,
okay, go on.
I'm going. Thus, during the Battle of Yamama, these Hafiz, legend says it, were defeated rapidly.
Not all of them.
Definitely. Not all of them, but most. A lot. They were defeated.
Probably not most.
And thus, the memorization of the Quran was in trouble. Skipping a few days forward, Abu Bakr was approached with such an issue. Please save us before we lose the book, before we lose the Quran. We need to write it down. So Abu Bakr had Zayd go and collect it, and he had it written down. A few years later, Uthman was a caliphate. And because of these different writings of the Quran, people deferred in the Quran, and they came to Uthman and said, Chief of the believers, may you save us from these differences before we defer about the book, like the Jews and the Christians before us. And so he says, Nam. We shall save these people. This is what we'll do. Everyone, turn in your manuscripts of the Quran. Turn them all in. Bring them here. Hafsa, turn your Quran in. We're going to rewrite it, make a perfect copy. So it happened just as it was said. And so when the perfect rewritten copy was made under Uthman's provision, he had the other manuscripts, whole copies of the Quran burned, while the one that he approved of was spread out among the people. And that, my friend, is how the original Quran got burned and corrupted and dismantled. You still have some truths in your Quran today, but whatever disagrees with the Bible, those are the parts that are fabricated.
Okay, you got the story wrong.
I got the story wrong. How could you tell me I'm the best storyteller on the planet?
Right. So here's what happened. So in the Battle of Yamama, some of the Hafizin, the people who memorized the whole Quran, were dying, right? And some people, they were trying to write the Quran based on from their memory only, and during war. And these people, obviously, no one's memory is 100% perfect, right? Okay. And Uthman said, no, don't do that.
That wasn't during the war.
Have many people.
That wasn't during the war.
Okay, so listen, there is a... Okay, anyways. So it was Uthman and other companions that were with Muhammad, and they all them memorized the Quran. And they had the Quran that they wrote from Prophet Muhammad on like tree branches, animal skin, and other things.
That's right. And what did Uthman do to all those copies of the Quran?
I'll tell you. And these that were written on animal skin and tree branches and stuff, they knew they weren't going to last long. They knew they were not going to last long. Okay? So what he did, he gathered all the people, that trustable people that memorized the Quran.
Why?
And all the manuscripts, so he can write the Quran.
That's not what he did.
Paper, make it into a book.
That's not what he did.
Okay.
Do you want to read it? Do you want to actually read the Hadith? Because that's not what happened. He didn't gather all the people that were left that memorized the Quran. No, that's not what happened. What happened was he had Hafsa send her a copy of the Quran so that they can rewrite that and make perfect copies of it. And so he had Zayd, Hisham, and two others, I can't remember their names. He had them rewrite the copy of Hafsa's version of the Quran. So then he also had all the other people who had their copies of the Quran, like what you said, on different materials. He had them turn in all of their manuscripts, whether they were whole copies of the Quran, so entire Qurans, or fragments of the Quran. He had them all turn them in, okay? And then burned them all. He burned them all and sent out his rewritten copy.
Not his. He was with other people under supervision.
Whose supervision?
There is hadiths that say that. Listen, there is a video, I have it saved on TikTok that shows everything.
You have a video on TikTok that shows you everything. I have a hadith. I have a hadith that shows me everything.
It shows from hadith. It does show from hadith.
I have a hadith that shows me everything. What we do now? Where do we go from here? Should I trust a video or a hadith?
Because you're probably reading it wrong.
Oh,
or maybe you're
probably reading it wrong. I'm probably reading it wrong. Come on, man.
You're probably not reading. Okay, you're either misinterpreting it or you're reading it out of context.
Really? Okay. Let's see, man. Let's see just for a second. Be burned. Let's see if I'm the one that's misinterpreting the hadith. So I'm going to put it up. I'm going to read it. I'm going to read the relevant part. Hold on. Why does it take so long for the right hadith to pop up when I put the specific words? Okay, how about this? Whole copies. There we go. Should pop right up. There we are. All right. You ready?
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So, Sahih Bukhari 4987. Sahih Bukhari 4987. Hudayfa was afraid of, now I kind of skipped a little bit of the first part because it's like irrelevant, okay? Hudayfa was afraid of their differences in the recitation of the Quran. So he said to Uthman, O chief of the believers, save this nation before they differ about the book as the Jews and the Christians did before. So what's the reason why Uthman is about to make these different copies? What's the reason according to the hadith? I'll read it again. Hudayfa came to Uthman and said, O chief of the believers, save this nation before they differ about the book as the Jews and the Christians did before. So Hudayfa was afraid of their differences in the recitation of the Quran. Right?
Go on.
Am I misinterpreting anything so far?
No, go.
All right, cool. So Uthman sent a message to Hafsa saying, send us the manuscripts of the Quran so that we may compile the Quranic materials in perfect copies and return the manuscripts to you. Hafsa sent it to Uthman. Uthman then ordered Zayd bin Thabit, Abdullah bin Azubair, Sa'id bin Alas, and Hisham. So Zayd bin Thabit, Azubair, Ibn Alas, and Hisham. He ordered all of them to rewrite the manuscripts in perfect copies. So they rewrote the Quran in perfect copies, or Hafsa's copy of the Quran, right? Okay.
Yes.
Uthman then said to the three Qurayshi men, in case you disagree with Zayd bin Thabit on any point in the Quran, then write in the dialect of Quraysh. The Quran was revealed in their tongue. They did so, and when they had written many copies, Uthman returned the original manuscripts to Hafsa. Uthman then sent to every Muslim prophet one copy of what they had copied. So who's the leader? Who's the one who's overseeing all of this? It's Uthman, right?
And other people.
No, they're not the ones who are overseeing it. Uthman's overseeing it, and they're just following
It's
Uthman's
not
orders.
just Uthman. It's not.
All right,
just
so
Uthman.
who else is overseeing
other
with
people.
Uthman? Who?
Man, if I could pull it up, I can't pull it up. If
I
I have to pull up
I have it right now. Everybody,
No, because I don't have another computer with me. I only
but
have my
I
phone.
have it right now. Uthman is the caliph who ordered 4 people to rewrite the Quran. Hafsa's copy. They're not overseeing nothing. They're following orders.
But they also memorized the Quran.
No, they didn't.
How do you know that?
Because they had to go collect the Quran. If they had to memorize it, why do they need? Okay, think about it, bro. Use your brain. If they memorize the Quran, why do they need Hafsa's copy of the manuscript and to rewrite that one in perfect copies to copy that one?
Because no one's memories is perfect.
So they didn't
need to use their memories. They need to use their memories and the perfect copy of Hafsa to make sure
it wasn't a
every single letter. Yes, it was.
To make sure, but they memorize it. Come on, man.
Yes. They memorize it. They all agree on one thing using the copy of Hafsa to make sure nothing goes wrong. And they know it's 100%.
So their memory wasn't reliable, right?
Listen, one person might slightly forget something.
If you got
everybody's memories combined,
if you got 5
and the perfect copy.
Brain. You got 5 people: Uthman, Hisham, Alas, Zayd bin Thabit, and what's the other guy? Azubair. You got 5 people who you are saying memorize the whole Quran. So if all 5 people memorize the Quran, why do they need Hafsa's copy of the Quran in order to rewrite the Quran in perfect copies?
To be 100% sure.
So then their memory is not reliable then, right?
Yes. No, listen.
Beautiful. Their memory is not reliable.
Let me tell you something. One person might make a mistake, and the other person might, and all the other 4 people be like, no, you actually made a mistake here. See this copy of Hafsa's Quran, it says otherwise. Actually, you made a mistake. And it's like, oh, yes, I made this mistake. To make sure all of them, make sure it's 100% reliable Quran.
Good.
And wouldn't you, if you were, if you
were
in their place.
Sorry, bro. So 5 of the people who you're saying memorize the Quran, their memory is not reliable enough for them to rewrite the Quran. They need Hafsa's copy. Right?
Okay. Put yourself in their shoes.
Well,
if you were,
I don't want to.
If you and 5 people that memorized the whole Bible.
Let's move forward now. Let's move forward. So they needed Hafsa's copy to rewrite the Quran. Their memory wasn't good enough, and so then it says that Uthman sent out these copies of the Quran that they made and ordered that all the other Quranic materials, whether written in fragmentary manuscripts or whole copies, be burned. Why burn them?
Because they were wrong. The wrong copies by the people that were only relying on their one memory, and they're writing it during war. As if they got it wrong, obviously he wants to burn them so people don't take it and think this is a real Quran.
Oh, so they had other Qurans out there, whole Qurans, fragments of the Qurans that were wrong, according to Uthman.
Because not only according to Uthman, all the other people that memorize it and have the copy.
Yeah, who else said that these copies were wrong?
All the people.
Nobody.
Okay, bro. Listen. There's this guy in the comments. His name is Salam. He wants me to switch out with him. I want to switch out with him.
Good. That's a good idea, bro.
Salam.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be honest. I'm not that knowledgeable.
You're not knowledgeable, yet you're trying to argue with me. What sense does that make?
I mean, listen, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I was only here to say, hey, why can't we live in peace? And I'm gonna be honest, things drag out to this.
Your Quran doesn't want us to live in peace. Your Quran says to fight me because I disbelieve. Your Quran calls me the worst of creatures, bro.
Yeah. Switch out with Salam.
All right, take that home with you. I want you to go ahead and ponder on that.
Yeah.
All right. let's get to. All right, what do you want to touch on?
Again, so I found some inconsistencies on what you were telling the brother about what happened with the what Uthman did and how he standardized the Quran.
Mm-hmm.
So again, he basically he just didn't do it himself. He did it with the companions of the Prophet
Companions of the Prophet?
that knew the Quran. They memorized it.
They memorized it?
Yep.
Zayd bin Thabit memorized the Quran?
Not all of them, but most of the companions knew the Quran by heart.
Okay, so how do you know that Al-Zubair, Alas, Hisham, how do you know that they've memorized the Quran?
Because Uthman chose them.
That doesn't mean that they memorized the Quran.
Why would he choose them if they did?
For example, you know who Ibn Masud is?
Yes.
So Ibn Masud, one of the 4 people that Muhammad pointed to say, if you want to learn the Quran, or to learn the Quran, learn from these 4. And the first person he pointed to was Ibn Masud. Why didn't he pick Ibn Masud? Why didn't he pick Ubay ibn Ka'b, who's also one of those men?
I'm not too sure.
If he wanted to pick people who were the best at the Quran, he picked 4. Muhammad pointed at 4 people best to learn the Quran from, who memorized it, learned it straight from him, and none of those 4 did he pick.
Maybe he just wasn't able to.
I wouldn't say that. Ibn Masud actually disagreed with what Uthman was doing. Did you know that?
How so?
He told his students, do not turn your Qurans in, hide them. And he also, in this, he threw a shot at Zayd bin Thabit, who he says, I know more of the Quran than Zayd. What authority does he have? I know the Quran better than all of them. And the Hadith says, and no one refuted him or spoke up against him because they knew he was right.
Mm-hmm.
So if he wanted to be accurate and do the best, I would assume that he would pick Ibn Masud, Ubay ibn Ka'b, and I forget the other 2 names that Muhammad mentioned, but those 4 people, he would pick them. Why does one of those people disagree with what Uthman is doing if what he's doing is right and everybody's in unison on this?
Well, people have different opinions, so what matters was that the Quran was perfectly preserved.
According to who?
Well, can you prove that it wasn't?
What if you claim that the Quran was perfectly preserved? So for example, Ibn Masud had something in his Quran that you don't have in your Quran today.
What do you have?
So in chapter 19, verse 3, Ibn Masud's Quran read differently than how yours reads.
How did it read?
So if you go to chapter 92, verse 3, it says this in your Quran today, in your Hafs version.
It says, and by the one who created male and female.
Yep. Mm-hmm. By him who created male and female. Now, in Ibn Masud's, let me pull up the Hadith really quick. Let me see. I'd have to go. Hold on, give me 1 second. Got it saved in my bag. In my little album. I just need to get this reference real quick, and I'll put it right on the screen for us all to see.
2,000 years later.
Oh man! All right. Well, let me put this up just for so that everybody can see. Here it is, right here. Narrated Ibrahim. The companions of Abdullah bin Masud came to Abu Darda. He looked for them and found them. Then he asked them, who among you can recite the Quran as Abdullah recites it? Abdullah bin Masud. They replied, all of us. he asked, who among you knows it by heart? They pointed at Al-Qama. Then he asked Al-Qama, how did you hear Abdullah bin Masud reciting Surah Al-Layl, the night? Al-Qama recited, by the male and the female. And Abu Darda said, I testify that I heard the Prophet reciting it likewise. But these people want me to recite it, and by him who created male and female. But by Allah, I will not follow them. So did you guys hear him? How it's in their Quran. It's recited as saying, hold on, let me do this real quick. Let me put them both. I'm gonna put them both on the screen so we can see it. Just so we can see it. We can see them both side by side. All right. Boom, y'all see it? By the male and the female is how Abdullah read his Quran. By the male and the female. And the wrong way to do it, according to Abu Darda and Ibn Masud, is by him who created male and female. That's what's in your Quran today. So the way that Ibn Masud recited the Quran here is different from what you have in your Quran today. And Abu Darda said, by Allah, I will not follow the Quran that you guys have. By Allah. Oops. Oh, shoot. By Allah. Won't do it. So this is the hadith, guys, 4944. Sahih Bukhari, 4944. An explicit difference. All right. So there we go, man. All right, let's go ahead and bring up the next guest here.